We are going to tie. Is the microphone turned on?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Curtis always gets me. We are going to tie an Iris Caddis variation, I will say. Iris Caddis is one of the most effective caddis emerger type patterns that I've fished. Anyway, we're going to do it with a little bit different materials, but still kind of the same general pattern. So, Craig Matthews, big shout out to you. This pattern rocks. Okay, we've got a Daiichi 1180 or Tiemco. I'm kicking the camera. A Tiemco 100, whatever you like. And this is wood duck colored UTC 70. Yes, Peter Steen, I'm talking to you. But look at my spool. This is one of probably 3 of them that I've burned through this year. So it's an awesome color. But this pattern is very, very simple. It's just got a little bit of a shuck for a tail. So I'm just going to take some yarn, whether it's Antron, z-lon, sparkly merger yarn, or whatever you like. And I know that people will say if it doesn't have z-lon, it won't work. I've caught them on plenty of non-z-lon flies. But I'm just going to wrap back, and I'm going to trim this tail off. And instead of just leaving it flat, I'm going to come in here and taper it a little bit to give the appearance of a shuck. Now for the body and for the kind of front part of this fly, I'm going to use squirrel. So this is just, I think this is pine squirrel that I have, but any type of just plain squirrel, not like the spiky squirrel dub that has Antron mixed into it, just plain old squirrel. So you can see I'm tapering it up just a little bit. And that's the body. For the wing on this, I'm going to take a piece of cream yarn, whatever your denomination is. I'm going to take in a much more full piece of that. And I like to cut it as I'm holding it in my fingers so that it has a nice and flat tie-in point. So I'm going to tie that in kind of on the far side of the hook shank. Kind of like that. And now I'm going to loop it over and pinch it in place and tie it in on the other side. And if you just do a couple loose wraps, you can look at it and you can adjust it if you need to. I'm going to make it just a little bit shorter. So just like that. It just kind of loops right around. And from here, I'm going to trim it off at an angle. And now we just need to create the head of the fly. So instead of just dubbing, which you can do, create the head just like you did the body, I'm actually going to make a little dubbing loop out of the same material, and you'll see that it makes quite a bit different effect on the head of the fly. So I'm just going to put my shepherd's loop attachment on the gator grip in there. And if you can see, I pull the dubbing out of a corner of a bag. Just cut the corner off, and that way as I'm pulling the fibers out, they typically all come out in the same orientation. So just like that. You can see that's kind of a clean little loop. I'll twist that up. And then I can stick my finger into the tool and preen the fibers back as I wrap forward. So if you can see this little hack that I'm doing, if I just leave my thread to hang like that, there's a chance that it's going to come off the front of the hook because it's a down eye hook. So what I do is I'm going to grab my thread with one of my fingers and just kind of pull it back out of the way. That way I'm ensuring that I'm not going to unravel. You can see, point that out. So my thread's right here. You can see that my finger's holding it back out of the way, if that makes sense. I've got a little bit of stuff in the eye, but it's not enough to bother me too much. And now I will just whip finish that bad boy. You can see that wood duck thread makes a nice, clean, smooth head. And that macro lens really screws with you. Alright, so that's it. You can come in here now and brush it out. Don't get your Velcro in that loop too much or it'll stick in there. But anyway, that is an Iris Caddis variation.